Hi everybody, my name is Jacqueline Rosen and I teach U.S. History, Government, and Economics at Leadership Public Schools in Richmond, California, and I am here to present my real portfolio to you. So in terms of my philosophy of education is that every single student should have the opportunity to achieve his or her dream, no matter his or her background. Education should look like an equal share of a world-sized pie. So that looks exactly like this. Everyone gets a slice if he or she wants it, and if I could change anything, it would be to make sure that the quality of education does not depend on socioeconomic status. I would make it so that the current system through which school districts get their resources in terms of how money is distributed through taxes and property values and things like that would be eliminated and replaced with something much more equal for everyone involved. If I could make one change to the education system, it would be to figure out a way that teacher sustainability could go hand in hand with student success. It might be just a pipe dream, but it would certainly be worthwhile. In terms of respect, my philosophy surrounding respect is that kindness is the only thing that is guaranteed to earn it. It goes a very long way. If you're kind, your students will respond to that kindness immediately. It develops that sense of mutual respect much faster than anything else and really helps the students make the most out of their time in the classroom. It also promotes a very safe classroom environment. Your colleagues respond to that kindness as well. Professional kindness means that your colleagues will be much more willing to collaborate with you regarding interdisciplinary projects or even student success. If you respect one another rather than compete with one another, you're more likely to create a school environment that fosters growth and success for everyone there. Kindness in my own classroom relates to the expectations that I set for my students. At the beginning of the year, I told them that I only had 3 rules that hang on a poster in my room at all times. Number 1, be nice. Number 2, work hard. And number 3, follow directions. Be nice is number 1 for a reason. I value it most of all, and my students know that. The rest is sort of self-explanatory and seriously fosters an environment of respect. In terms of educate, I feel that the role of educate in the classroom means that you are preparing your students to go out into the real world with the knowledge and skills that they receive, so that they're not just going into the world with a diploma, but with something practical that they can use and relate to everyone else and everything else. It's your duty as their teacher to make sure that they're getting these things through creative lessons and activities, as well as certain topics. And as a social studies teacher, my most important duty as an educator is to connect what we are studying in the classroom to what is going on in the world today. To me, to educate refers specifically to this. If the students cannot connect their own lives to history content, they simply do not understand why it's so important. I constantly connect my lessons to current events, helping my students realize how their stories sort of tie in with those of the past, whether it's simply just a slide for the day connecting whatever we're talking about to a current event or something happening in the community. Such as today, we went over the Red Scare and how everyone was worried about these foreign ideas sort of coming into the United States and messing up our values and what we hold dear. And today, that's sort of the case with illegal immigration and how we are sort of worried about the ideas and values of the United States getting messed up by people who are here without necessarily the legal paperwork to allow them to stay here. In addition to that, sometimes I will have them read current event articles, such as the one on the right of the slide. Afghanistan has caused the U.S. more than the Marshall Plan. This article the students read on the day that we went over the Marshall Plan to sort of connect the Marshall Plan to the war on terror and exactly how the two sort of go hand in hand. In terms of the role of advocate, I think to be an advocate means that you're constantly fighting for your students and figuring out how to help them get the most out of their educations. To be an advocate means that you are making sure that they are getting the fair and equal chance at an education that you know that they deserve, despite their situations at home with the law in terms of socioeconomic status or anything else that might be difficult for them to deal with. I'm constantly trying to fight for my students. For example, one of my students could not go to school for a week straight because her father lost his job and could no longer pay for a car. She had no way of getting to school. So this student is actually in my senior girls advisory, and in order to make sure that she could continue to attend and get her diploma, I helped her figure out a route to school via public transportation and advocated for her to my school's administration to see if we could find a way to fund that transportation. In addition to this, I am constantly participating in my school's club for students who are associated with the DREAM Act to make sure that they have a way of getting to college and ultimately have a path to achieving their dreams. Another piece of evidence that proves that I'm an advocate in the classroom is the form that I have my students and their parents fill out on the very first day of school. I use this form to communicate with the parents and guardians of my students throughout the year to make sure that I am doing the most that I can for them in the classroom and that their parents are aware of that and know that they can reach out whenever they possibly want to. In terms of leading, to be a leader, I believe, means that you are constantly trying to improve your school environment and your student situations. You are constantly trying to develop yourself as an educator, taking advantage of every professional development opportunity and really every chance you get to learn more about your students and your community. My school, for example, puts on an annual internship week for seniors in which every single student gets to shadow someone who works in the profession that they're considering pursuing in the future. And I took a leadership role in making sure that every single senior was paired with someone who would influence and inspire them. It was an extremely successful week. All of the students learned something about themselves and focused their goals. A few of my students, some of which are pictured here, for example, the picture on the right was at an environmental organization. The picture in the middle is at a homeless shelter in the middle of San Francisco, and the picture on the right is at a law firm. And all of the students pictured in these photographs actually got summer internships out of their experiences, which made it clear that my leadership definitely paid off. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes my real portfolio presentation. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks.